Hello YouTubers, Flu here, and I'm coming at you with another tutorial. This one's going to be a photo manipulation tutorial. It's very basic, I would say. Like, there's not much going on in this image, but it's the lighting that I did on it that makes it what it is. The reflections, or well, not the reflections, the atmosphere around the haystacks. So we're going to be making this Tetris style game manipulation with this farmer walking with his two cans, but I just added a little bit, adding him. So we're going to be focusing on the lighting, the composition, and also removing backgrounds easier than you may think, which you may not have used. So let's get right into it. By the way, the files are easily downloaded. They're be able to download these files, these project files. So yeah, they're in the description of this video. So you can follow along. They're low-res images because some of them were actually brought by myself, so obviously I cannot give you them for the license. So let's make a new document. So file new. I always do mine 4000 by 3000, or I don't always, but that's a good size. I'm going to do it 72 resolution just for the video because obviously making it quicker. So let's start with the field. So I'm going to get that field image. 1 second. Should have had that prepared. Okay, so it's this image here. So I'll also give you this in a low res. Obviously it's 72 DPI, that's why it's gone really small. But it is a smart object, so we're still keeping the quality. So about there is about fine. Let's have a look. A bit lower. I think around there would be nice. So I am going to rasterize it now because I don't need that anymore. Also the sky, but I've changed the sky on here, so let's get that image in here as well. Okay, so it's there. This guy here. Actually, that's not the sky I used. 1 second. Where's that sky? Let's just drag it from the other one a minute. It's that one. Okay, so this one here. So I'll give you this as well. So I'm going to put that below the image. Now, what we want to do is get rid of this blue sky which is already on there. Now, there's a very cool tool which you might not know of, which I'm going to show you. First thing I'm going to do is get the quick selection tool and just, do it roughly over the top. So we've got a rough selection here. I'm going to go in a little bit just to make sure we do get the tractor, whatever this thing is. Okay, we've got enough of that, that's fine. Some of that as well. What I'm going to show you is this background eraser tool. It's more for realizing things than actual doing it, but it will work in this case because it's quite an easy background. So as you can see, right click on the rubber or the eraser tool. We've got background eraser. Now if we make it really big, I'll just click once, twice, keep going until we get rid of the whole thing. It's, as you can see, it's very easy to do. I made the quick selection just so I could easily get rid of it and without affecting our landscape. So obviously you can refine it as well with like a rubber tool now, a razor, just go over it. Bigger brush than that. Just over the top. Just make sure I don't get the tractor. Okay, so obviously we don't want these trees, so what I'm going to do is bring this right down. But I do want that cloud formation there, so I'm going to get the clone stamping tool or the patch tool if you want. Let's go to the top, patch, draw around this tree here and just go that. That's not a very good selection. Let's do it again. Go over here. And it's kind of green because we got greenery underneath, so I might have to just use the clone stamp for this. It's no problem. If you want to get a better clone stamp, make your opacity and your flow quite low. Flow could be 100% actually if you wish, but either way, and it'll just do it softer and it'll just look a bit more better. You'll have more control over it, that is. Okay, yeah, so obviously these trees as well now. Let's get rid of these. Let's go, okay. Just quickly rush this. So I'm holding Alt on my keyboard to click for a point of reference and then clicking on the bit I want to get rid of. There's some more background I believe there, because you see that line. So obviously you take more care on it, you go around the whole thing and look for any errors anywhere. But as you can see with the background eraser tool, it's erased everything apart from the trees. Even the little trees down here, it's pretty good. Obviously that's a bit blue, you might need to desaturate that or make it a bit more green. Or you could even go to refine edge. Maybe just decontaminate the colors a little bit. Might help out, but it's not going to change that blue. So you might want to either, as I said, desaturate it and just make it green, or delete it yourselves. It's completely up to yourselves. Do what you wish. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to, but yeah, there's methods for that. You get rid of that tree though, so let's do that. There we go. Easily erase that. Okay, so now for the fields, the haystacks. Again, I will give you this image which we're going to be using from, but of course it'll be lower res. So let's get that in here. Okay, so it's this image here. Let's bring it up a bit. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rasterize it. You could keep a copy with a smart object if you wish, but like, you know, another layer. But first, because of the angle of the haystack, this has been shot like overlooking it, like above it. So we're gonna have to change that. So use perspective warp. Drag a square of the whole thing. Go to warp. And just drag it out a little bit on the edges, just to make it a bit more in our perspective. That's not too bad. Bring the tops in a little bit as well. Like so. Okay, that's fine. So getting rid of the white is pretty simple, but as magic wand, click once, then get your refine edge. Actually, first Control Shift I, or select inverse, and then I'm going to hit refine edge, and then we get a good selection here. So it's on black. If you don't see this, if you see that or this, or it just go to the view mode and go to black. I think that's best for this image. So we can click smart radius, and it will add a bit more detail to the edges. As you can see, if we go up, the more it gets added, but we want to make sure we don't get any white in that radius, so maybe a little bit. Shift edge, you can go up or to get more, or down. So I'm going to go down just to make sure we get in the right amount. Feather, I'm going to go a bit about 1, just a little feather, just to make it a bit more soft. You can do the same with the smooth option if you wish. Might not need feather if you don't wish it, but it's up to you. I'm going to hit decontaminate colors and just leave it like that and click OK. So we've got our selection of our haystacks there. So let's keep a copy of that. Let's delete that one there. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to hit apply layer mask, because we don't need the mask on this anymore on this version. So just hide the one underneath. Now we're going to take parts of this. So for the top bit, let's just make a rough selection around the top. And then let's Control Shift I, and mask that. Sorry, other way around. If you didn't get what I just did, I inverted it, and then I added the mask, so then it masks everything outside of our selection. So then with the mask, we can get our grass tool. Go to your brush settings over here. If you don't see this, go to window and then brush. Take off color dynamics and transfer. Or you can use this one here. Same again. And just you can rub out the bottom. Increase the size possibly. Just to get a realistic as possible. Maybe change the angle of the shape, so angle jitter maybe. Get a bit more varied effect. So get rid of that on the edges. So that isn't too bad. Obviously it's going to be quite far away, so it won't matter too much, but we just want to make sure that, you know, from any distance you can still see that it's haystacks and you can still recognize the strands. Okay, so that's not too bad. We'll leave that like it is. If you want to refine it any more, obviously go ahead. Okay, so got that. So I'm going to duplicate that. So now I've got these two. Let's duplicate that. Don't need that one anymore. So we've got these two now. We've got that one and the big one. So we can make a group of this and then Control J. Just we've got a spare. So we can put spare haystack, just in case you go wrong, and you can obviously go back to it. So with this, I'm going to ungroup that actually. With the smaller one, what am I going? Okay, with the smaller one, the bigger one. Sorry, I'm going to put it into the position. So where do we do it on our other image? Okay, so about there. So something like that, be fine. Then again with the top one, Control J, and I'm going to get another selection of just one of them, so the top one. So let's get rid of that. So then edit, fill, and then black on our mask. And again, same again we did a minute ago, just rub the bottom off, just to make it a bit more realistic. Take your time on it, of course. That's fine. Because we got one and we got two. We could obviously add more. You could get like odd looking, like a proper Tetris shape. Be to go like this. Edit, fill, black, and then do the same around the edges of that. Maybe if you're on CC, you can change that angle, just like go around the sides, like so. That was a bad cut, that one. All right, so that's that, and then we can start adding it to our image. So if you get these bits, you can twist it, maybe even apply the mask now if you don't want to use the masks anymore, because they are a bit annoying when you have to like change the shape and that. Make sure you don't get any of these little lines. Do the same at the top. Okay, so let's just place them around sporadically. So if I get this one first, make sure they're the same size as the actual bales of hay. To put on there, put different direction, maybe that one, that size. That one, something like that. That one. I'm always duplicating just so I have a spare, because obviously I'm resizing it without adding a smart object. If you want it all to be like resizable and not lose quality, make everything a smart object, but just for the sake of this, I'm not going to do that. I could see that as a white line if you go in close. You might not be able to see it on here, but back here you can see this little white faint line. So I'm going to go around the big haystack. Control Shift I to invert, and then just again edit, fill, and that'll get rid of any stray lines. So we're starting to get to the Tetris side of things. So we've got one up there. You can have one connecting with the actual thing if you wish. That'll mean more shading in that. You need to add a bit of shading to that. Maybe like I did on my image, like a long one, like so. You know, you could flip it. You could warp it to what you wish, to what you make it all the shapes a bit different. But just for the sake of the tutorial and the speed. All right, so somewhat like this, be fine. So let's get our farmer in here as well. I believe I found that on Shutterstock. Let's have a look a minute. Not Shutterstock. If I show you this site anyway, because it's a really good site, it's sxc.who. So if I type in farmer, I believe he's on here somewhere. There he is. It's a good image, this one. So I'm just gonna, obviously these are royalty free stock images as well, which is great to use in our designs. And this is a great image. So I'm gonna copy him in here. Now the way I cut him out was it's actually quite difficult because he's in a lot of color. But just get the magic selection, go around him till you get a rough cut of everything. I didn't do the cut very extremely well on the actual design because I just did it quickly. It's just a little bit of fun, but with some nice techniques. So again, just roughly get the water cans in there, and I'm even gonna get the rope in there. Okay, but then when I've done that, and I've got a rough, this is a complete rough selection, I know, but let's hit the red, this little thing is a quick mask, and we can see what we're cutting out. So with the black and white, go to white obviously reveals and black conceals. So we can get rid of just roughly for this design. If you want to take more care of it, of course, do that. Just a quick way of cutting out any image. It's a very good tool to use. Now if you want to get rid of the strands of the ropes, again just do exactly the same thing. At the size of this character, this model, it's not gonna look too bad with your cutting out. So as you can see, I've just roughly done this, but take your time. So white, and then all I did on there was just get a really small brush and just go over the line. So obviously this is poor cutting, so don't do this. Do take your time on it. So then if I take that off, I can see our selection. Control J. We've got our little man. It's not a very good cut, as I said, but it will do for this tutorial. But make sure you take a lot more time than I did. Otherwise you'll have not very good images. Okay, so that's that. So we'll leave him for now and just focus on the other things. So to get the nice like sun effect in the way I did this, I've made a little gradient to make it pop. The sun, that is. So actually before we do that, I'm just going to add the shadows. So there's a lot more ways you can add shadows. I'm going to not merge with these, but add all these haystacks into a group, and then get a new layer. Go to Edit, Fill, 50% Grey, OK. Change the layer style to Soft Light, and then that's look at that, done nothing. But now we get our burn tool, and we can change between the two. So if you get a burn tool on midtones at around 30%, and then alternating between using the Alt key, I can rub down. I can adding some shadows. So this bringing this out a bit. These stacks, and then holding Alt, I can obviously add in some highlight. So we're gonna make sure the highlights on the right hand side. Just doing this roughly, and then shadow in between everything else. So as you can see already, that looks a lot better. It's pretty cool. So again, just go around all these. I'm just gonna do it really quick. Make sure it's clip and masked. We don't want it going onto our sky. So again, just go around each side like so. So you want that bit to be bright, that bit to be bright there. When we add our sun, it will make sense. Okay, it's on the side. Almost looks like Weetabix, if any of you has tried that. Good English food, I think. Breakfast. So top, yeah, that's fine. Don't make it too white, obviously. Okay, so that's a little bit better. So now we're going to add our sun. So make a new layer. Actually, no, don't do that. Go to the bottom here and go to gradient. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our own gradient. So let's just start with this one, and we'll go to white. This one to black. But first make it radial. So as you can see, this circle is going to be our sun. So make another one close to there. Probably that color is probably a good color to use actually. Another one a bit darker orange. Something like that. Maybe like that, a bit more nice orange there. You could add another one if you wish, just to make a bit more variance. Something to match it a little bit. And that, if you want to do that, that would create that little the ray which you get in a lot of images. Let's stick to the three. That'll do. Okay. I'm gonna rasterize this and go to screen. So then this could go anywhere you wish. Let's resize this slightly, like so, and then I'm going to add a filter, blur, Gaussian blur, just to roughen out the edges a bit, soften out the edges, sorry. So that is our lighting, but now we're going to add a mask to this. It's already got a mask on there. And what we can do is we can get a selection of our group. So if we just duplicate it for now, and that get our selection, then we can delete that if you wish. Let's go back to little flare. And obviously where shadows wouldn't be, you want to get rid of. So just do it roughly, just on a low opacity, low flow. It's just a bit more lower than that. Just start to get rid of where shadows would not exist, where this light would not exist, sorry. Be a bit less than that. So obviously on the sides of this, on the extreme bottom of this, it would not be there. So something like that looks okay. So now we're going to add the shadow to our haystacks. So just above, I'm just going to get a brush. You could do this the same way I did with the 50% grey if you wish, but I'm just going to use a low opacity black brush, soft brush, low flow. Just rub it, just get, just gradually add a shadow. Try not to make it look too fake though. I think I got to put black on there, yeah. What is this on? Okay, so to put that above our sun flare. We're getting on to 20 minutes. I'm going to try and do it a different way actually, because that didn't work too well. I'm going to do brightness right down on a brightness and contrast. I'm going to edit to fill black. And then with a white, just reveal any shadows you want to reveal. I'll do that for you. Maybe on him as well, just quickly. Alright. Probably add a bit more shadows. Something like that. Bit of blur to this, going down. Just something like that, you get the idea. And obviously you can add a mask to this, the group, and then just with a soft brush or the grass brush, just get rid of the bottom to make it blend in more, so it's not such a straight edge. Zoom in, might want to. Let's use a soft brush. Make it blend a bit better. Obviously take a lot more time than I am just doing this quickly, because this tutorial is getting on a bit. So that's that, basically, that's the idea. And then with the character, what I did is duplicated the sun, and I'm gonna make a mask on the farmer and then to move it over until it has an effect on him. As you can see, it does there. So it's rather cool. It just makes our person look a lot more like he's in the scene and have an effect on the light. So I'm gonna just get rid of his shoes here, using the grass brush to blend him in a bit more, making sure transfer is not on so it doesn't just add it. Okay, and else you can add a shadow to him as well, above there, and just low opacity, low flow, add in a little shadow above the buckets and all that. Obviously take your time in the shadow, make sure it's all correct. I always add a little bit of blur, either motion or Gaussian. It just adds a lot more to your image, to your shadows, sorry. Something like that. Maybe a little opacity, and maybe do another one. That's what I normally do. I do a couple of layers of shadows just to make it a bit more realistic. See what that looks like. It's a little bit intense. Let's lower them a little bit more. Something like that's fine. And on the you can add like an adjustment layer if you wish, but I'm just going to do it right on the actually, make sure you do it right. Let's make it add a little bit of a color balance as a adjustment layer. And add a bit of yellow and a bit of red, just so she has a bit more on there. Same again. I'm going to make a 50% grey, soft light, add a clip mask, and then again just alternate in between. So if that would be shadow, this should be light. Side of her should be light. Just adds a little bit more to your image. if you're taking note of the lights. Go smaller to get that little bit of shadow in between there. Like that, and then get a bit lighter on the lighter parts. Like so. So that's that. That's pretty much there. Obviously this has got a bit more nicer feel to it. To get that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to group all these together, Control J, Control E, just to make a grouped merged layer. And I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Iris Blur. You can make this a smart object first. Filter, Blur, Iris Blur. Let's just drag it to the center and out. Yeah. Take the blur down to about 7, high quality. Okay. So now obviously we're focusing on the bits which matter in this image. Okay, so Control J again, or you could just use it on the same layer, it's up to you. Filter it, and then you can, I did use Color Effects Pro on this to get that nice feel on this. I'll show you that as well, but you could also just use the in Photoshop abilities, so color balance, yellow, red. Let's get the curves, just lower the curves slightly on the top one. We can go to the red channels, bring that up a bit, the green, bring that up a bit as well, and the blue, bring it down. So we're starting to get that nice effect. So it's pretty close. So I got the angles a little wrong on this one we did. So we can add another brightness and contrast. I'm going to lower this right down and the contrast down. And I'm going to add a edit fill black. And there's a way of doing it already, but yeah. Get the white, and I'm just going to get a big brush and just bring back that on the edges. And you could do it as much as you want. So just add a bit of a vignette, but not too much. So I'll show you the color, what I do with color effect to make it look how I did. So let's delete all these. Maybe not that one. So let's Control J, merge all those. So I would suggest getting Color Effects Pro. It's a very good little plugin. So you can go to cross processing. That's what I used. So on this one, we're going to use the Y06. So when you go into, you'll have nothing on here. So when you go into Color Effects, you just have these on the left. So if you go to cross processing, you can choose all these different effects. You got like different. That's quite nice sun effect. It's basically like a gradient, a color, a toning, basically. But I'm going to use the Y06, I believe. I do like that one. That one is quite nice. As you can see, it brightens up all of the bits we want. Yeah, let's use that one for this one. Obviously, you can use that one if you wish, but I'm liking what this one is doing. We could also add a bit of glamour glow if you wish. It just adds a bit more glow to your image, of course. But a bit of warmth. Add filter. Always remember to add filter after you've done something. You could add a bit of tonal contrast. So this is what I did in the other image to make the clouds pop. So you might get don't know what values it automatically puts in, but the more highlights, of course, the clouds will increase. That's why we want to bring that up slightly, but make sure we're not making the sun on the haystacks too much. The midtones is, of course, the midtones. It's a bit. It's adding more detail to the image. So that's quite nice. Shadows, just do it until you like it. I'm liking that. Okay, okay. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, we're on half an hour now, so I think that's where we're going to end it. Any questions, please leave a comment in the description. I'll be sure to get back to you. I hope you liked the tutorial. I know it was a bit long. I do fumble about sometimes. But I hope it was clear enough to understand, and I hope you get some benefit from it, from the gradients, the lighting and all that, and obviously this fantastic plugin. So thank you very much for watching, and please leave a like and comment at the end of this video, which is right now. Bye bye.